The words grahamadishu karmashu means in household duties. Another word is also used here, sarvatmana anurupam. The purport is that a wife should not only be equal to her husband in age, character and quality, but must be helpful to him in his household duties. The household duty of a man is not to satisfy sense gratification, but to remain with a wife and children, at the same time attain advancement in spiritual life. One who does not do so is not a householder but a grahamedi. Two words are used in Sanskrit literature, one is grahastha and the other is grahamedi. The difference between grahamedi and grahastha is that grahastha is also an ashrama, a spiritual order, but if one simply satisfies his senses as a householder, then he is a grahamedi. For a grahamedi to accept a wife means to satisfy the senses, but for a grahastha, a qualified wife is an assistant in every respect for advancement in spiritual activities. It is a duty of the wife to take charge of the household affairs and not compete with the husband. A wife is meant to help, but she cannot help her husband unless he is completely equal to her in age, character and quality. So, Swayambhuva Manu is offering to Kardama Muni his daughter, devotee, as a gift or kanyadhana. Therefore, please accept her, O chief of Brahmanas, for I offer her with faith, and she is in every respect fit to be your wife and take charge of your household duties. So the Grahastha Ashrama is one of the 4 ashramas in which the living entity in the material world purifies his consciousness and gets liberated from the embarrassing situation of being caught up in this temporary material body of birth, old age, disease, birth, death, old age and disease. So all the 4 ashramas are designed by the Creator, Chaturvarnya Maya Shishtam, by the Supreme Lord. It is designed a social system, and each of these ashramas have their corresponding rules and regulations, do's and don'ts and guidelines how to conduct oneself in that particular ashrama. By following those rules and regulations of whether it is brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa, whatever ashrama, and by following that, one can gradually make advancement in spiritual life. But in this particular age, this kind of a system doesn't exist or not even known to people. Practically, Prabhupada says that every householder is a grahamedi in the modern world. There are married people. In Vedic system also there are married people. Here also married people are there, but they are not grahastha because they have no idea of what is the purpose of that ashrama. They have no foresight that the purpose of the ashrama is to be in the ashrama and get out and become transcendental and get liberated from birth, death, old age and disease. Their eyesight doesn't go beyond this particular life. Their sight doesn't go beyond achieving something in this life. Children, property, name, fame, that's all. Totally meaningless from the eternal platform if you see, from the eternal scale of time if you see. The people of this particular modern age, because they are not guided by proper spiritual authorities and spiritual knowledge. They are simply living almost like animals. This is a very glaring situation of this world when we see from the perspective of Srimad Bhagavatam, when we see from the perspective of Sanatana Dharma, what is going on is completely against the will of the Lord, and therefore it simply the living entities are getting more and more bonded in this material world. So in Kali Yuga, this has become a very big problem because there is no system at all, there is no social system where one can actually stay within the ashrama and progress. So practically speaking, one cannot have, it's not enough if somebody thinks that I want to be a good brahmachari, I want to be a good grahastha, I want to be a good sannyasi, etc. Not enough. The environment is also required. Because each of these ashramas are a particular kind of a living situation in an environment. In an environment, yes, you can be a Paramahamsa anywhere. But you want to be a sannyasi, then there should be a society that respects sannyasis and who takes the services of the sannyasis, and sannyasi is supported also. If somebody wants to be a Brahmana, then the society should have that kind of a facility where the Brahmana is supported, etc. So, these things we can read in Srimad Bhagavatam, we can hear about all these things. But one has to understand that our path is not, or our path of liberation. What is the purpose of these ashramas? To liberate ourselves from the three modes of material nature. So our path of liberation is not through following the, perfectly the rules and regulations of all the, let's say, grahastha ashrama. So many sacrifices you have to do, every day the grahastha as householder, he has got so many duties he has to do. Duties to demigod, duties to so many things. It's all detailed. Nobody can live like that now, because the society also does not support. So we as devotees of Krishna consciousness movement, we should understand what are the principles of Sanatana Dharma. But then according to the present times in Kali Yuga, these are not the processes by which one can actually succeed in pleasing Vishnu through Varnash. The alternative is given, the only alternative is given, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalo nasti eva nasti eva nasti eva gati anyatha. That's why it's called the Yuga Dharma. In Yuga, the Dharma, simply by the yajna of chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that will please Vishnu, and if Vishnu is pleased, then you can come out of this material entanglement. So as far as ashramas are concerned, it is a big mess. But the holy name is so powerful that if one takes this medicine of the holy name on a daily basis, then all kinds of adjustments will happen with the bodily, mental situation, and somehow engage in service of the Lord. You will see that we will be able to come out of this. We will be able to awaken our transcendental knowledge in spite of being neither here nor there, neither a proper brahmachari, neither proper grahastha, neither a proper sannyasi. So Prabhupada always said, forget all this, you are a servant of Krishna, just serve Krishna. Those are all incidental. One should not pin so much faith on all those ashrama principles. At the same time, for the outside world, we have to set an example, so we have to be very, very careful. Even though we know that there is no perfect ashrama that can be followed in the present environment. But those who chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, those who serve the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because the spiritual potency comes from the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one will be able to, in whatever ashram he is there, he will be able to easily follow those principles. Even if the environment is not there, in essence he will be able to follow all those things. There is no difficulty for a devotee who is chanting 16 rounds to follow the principles of any of these ashramas. Not at all difficult. Because the holy name is so powerful. Chanting is so powerful. It is not that you chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds and your material life is in a mess. It will not be like that. The chanting of Hare Krishna is so powerful that it will, in the midst of all this, just like look at the here devotees in the Krishna Hare Krishna hill, or any of our temples. The outside world is such a big mess, and here devotees have no such thing. They are simply chanting, dancing, doing their service. Anxieties of struggle for existence is being spared for everybody in this Hare Krishna hill. How is it possible in Kali Yuga? Where will you get this luxury in Kali Yuga? Where you don't have to think about your eating, sleeping, mating, defending, you don't have to think. You only think of serving Prabhupada, your whole life gets going. Nowhere. Because material energy does not allow that. Maya does not allow that. Because Maya cannot enter when there is Sankirtana. Where there is chanting, Maya cannot enter. So we keep ourselves under protection of the divine energy of the deities, of the holy name, of the Guru's mercy. By all these things, we are actually continuously on a day-to-day basis, we are protected, and that is why we are in this particular situation. That is why we are in this particular situation. Otherwise it is impossible. So it takes a lot of... impossible means it's impossible. Sometimes you hear congregation devotees trying to practice Krishna consciousness, you'll see how difficult it is for them. Even if the whole family is supporting them, because they have to go outside and work in the midst of the karmis, and then they get all kinds of, they have to enter into that complicated network of Grahamayadis. So Srila Prabhupada has created that is why he said Srila Prabhupada has created a house the whole world can live. If these principles, if people are ready to follow these principles, which are not very difficult, not extreme, not very, to chant Hare Krishna is not very difficult. If people can chant Hare Krishna, their life will change. Their suffering will vanish. It is a fact. We as part of the Hare Krishna movement, having got the holy name, having got the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the holy name from him, we are having a liberated life actually. Little disturbance here and there. Body is always giving problem. Body and mind is always giving problem. But overall, we are having a liberated life. That is the reason why, if you appreciate that, then one will be able to feel that gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. You are not grateful to Srila Prabhupada just because, he is giving me knowledge. He is giving you everything. From food to everything he is giving. That is the way we should think. Gratitude to Prabhupada. Prasadam. It's not easy to get prasadam in this world. Right? So by my Guru's mercy I am getting prasadam. I'm getting an atmosphere, Vaishnava Sangha I'm getting. I'm getting freedom from material struggle for material existence. If you don't count these blessings, then we'll not be able to feel that gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. It's not a small thing. When we preach to outsiders, it's very difficult. The only thing that all other philosophy will not benefit them, any amount of philosophy, to make them chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 1 round, 2 rounds, start like that. That is most powerful thing which will, actually they can change, they'll see change in their life. See, after something good happens to us, we forget, we think that I am entitled for it. This is a problem. If that mercy of Guru is not there, you will be rotting in the material world. No, that is only theory. I am already got it. No, I am here. But you should not forget that if not for this, I'll be no different from millions of karmis outside, who are just grahamedis. In Krishna consciousness movement also, Prabhupada married people and all those things, but then in all those things, Prabhupada never told, now be ideal grahasthas. He never told that. He said, preach Krishna consciousness, work together, husband, wife, everybody work for the movement. Chant Hare Krishna, spread the holy name, distribute books, etc. Because this is what really works. All other things of, somebody who suddenly gets, excited about, oh really, this is what, now I understand what is a grahastha has to be. So far I was a grahamedi and now I have to be a proper grahastha. That is what Krishna consciousness movement is all about. Being a proper grahastha. Then he goes and refers to all the Vedas and checks out how a grahastha should live and all these things. You can never live like that. For our knowledge, Prabhupada is explaining all these things. But what did practically Prabhupada do? Practically, Prabhupada engaged everybody in seva of the Lord, direct service of the mission. The mission service of Srila Prabhupada's mission means service of the holy name. This is Hare Krishna movement. It's a movement of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everything that we do is serving the holy name. So that we should properly understand. There are two things. One is completely, a Avedic life. Then we learn from Prabhupada's books, from Shastras, we learn what is a proper Vedic life as per Sanatana Dharma. We learn, we understand that, Varnashrama. Then we understand what we are supposed to do. We are not supposed to do either of that. What is our line of action? What is our line of life? Prabhupada has given what to do from morning to evening. Do that. Does not matter whether incidentally, whether you are in terms of this world, somebody is married or somebody is renounced or somebody is a brahmachari student or what, does not matter. All those things are immaterial. Really immaterial. An acharya, Srila Prabhupada is an acharya. As an acharya, what did he do? He married people, his disciples, foreigners, husband, wife, got them married. After that, he did not tell them now you lead an ideal grahastha life. You read what happened. Wife went on book distribution, husband went on book distribution. got them married, they got, 2 months old child, husband and wife sent to another country to open a center. A baby is there, 2 months old baby is there. He sent them. No, they are now grahasthas, so ideally they have to be settled, they should not be disturbed, the children, although nothing. What benefits that soul today in this in this Kali Yuga is Krishna consciousness. Preaching, we participate in this mission. That is why anybody who tries to do this outside will not get the essence of it. Unless they have good karma, there are people with good karma, they don't go and mix with karmi, they don't work outside, nothing, they have got money. They chant Hare Krishna, come to the temple, that kind of congregation are there. Come to the temple, chant Hare Krishna, participate in all program, go back, no financial tensions, all those things. Such people, can have some hope. But those who are working outside, they make you work like anything. So many times when we try congregation, when we interview devotees for initiation, you see, they have to leave the house at 8 o'clock, they have to leave, they come back at 8 in the night, traveling time, working time, traveling time. Where do you chant? In the bus I chant, in the vehicle I chant, while driving I chant. And man becomes tired, he cannot work so much like that. When you have no energy, you chant, what will you do? You come back at 8 o'clock, okay, I finish 8 rounds in the morning, 8 rounds in the night. 8 rounds in the evening, some of them chant 16 rounds in the evening. Fully tired. After come back, they start chanting. It's a very, 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 and as time goes on, this becomes worse. Because the work culture is like that. The rat race is, India is also completely imitating the West. This phenomena happened in the West several years back. Now India is repeating that. Everything is happening very fast. Exactly as whatever happened sociologically to the society, the different impact in the society on the lives of people, is just a repeat of what happened in the West. And Indians have no idea what is happening. They are just dragged into it. Whereas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, anybody who is born in this country has to become guru for the rest of the world. Has to preach. Where is that culture? Prabhupada's books is the only saving grace. If somebody reads Prabhupada's books, get attached to chanting the holy name of the Lord, then everything will start changing. Because this is the Leela of the holy name. Every one of us are an example of the Leela of the holy name. The holy name has interacted with you and changed your life. The incarnation of the Lord, merciful incarnation of the Lord. By Prabhupada's, by Guru's mercy, he got the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. By following Guru's instruction to serve the holy name 16 rounds, the holy name is reciprocating with you to, that's what your life is all about. Everybody's life in Krishna consciousness movement is a life of reciprocation with the holy name. Whether he knows or not. Whether he is mechanically living, chanting and all those things, doesn't matter. But personally the holy name is involved in lifting the devotee out of ignorance. That is the first stage, first reciprocation. One will come out of this temporary life. One will come out of this. Why about Grahastha, Grahamedi and all those things? There is no question of even, if the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is done properly, then it's all a question of role play. One does not identify himself even as a male or a female. This whole consciousness about I am a male or a female in this world is a big cheating. If suddenly you get a female body, then next life you will say I am a female. Let's say the same soul was there in a male body, you will say I am a male. So you ask the question, am I a male or am I a female? So I am a male now is just this big cheating. I am a female now, it is also a big cheating. It's a big lie. And life goes so fast. On this earth, very easy to realize, 100 years life, unlike in the heavenly planets. And those who chant Hare Krishna, very quickly that realization comes, the realization of Brahman realization, or sense of eternity of the self, eternal existence, reality of eternity, existence of the soul beyond this changing bodies. The person is eternal. The identity that the male and female, that is not eternal. That is just temporary. So all these things very easily they come up simply by you have that luxury of this kind of life, which Krishna says, jnana avastitaha chetasaha. The consciousness where you are situated in jnana, that I am not this body and with this body I should be performing yajnas. I should be performing sacrifice for pleasure of Vishnu. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, in one lecture I heard that we all living entities are small consciousness units, which is part of supreme consciousness. So this material world is made up of 24 elements. So how is this consciousness interacting with these 24 elements?
Consciousness is interacting with the 24 elements as a knower of the 24 elements. Kshetrajna. How am I interacting with this mic? I know. I can know about this mic. There is no direct interaction. Interaction normally when you think the two things, are they mixing together? They are actually not mixing together. You are watching, you are a seer, and seen is different. The 24 elements are what is seen and you are the seer. But because you can be in illusion, think that I am the seen. Like this, in this body, the soul is a seer of the body. That is jnana avastita chetasa. To be in consciousness of what you are. But we identify ourselves with the seen. We think I am the body. So that we think I am the body. You don't become the body. The soul is always soul. If I think I am a king, do I become the king? No, I am what I am. Soul is always spirit, it's always Brahman. Brahman's characteristic, it is aware, it has got knowledge, it has got chit, it is conscious. So, 24 elements and we, the soul, the two different kind of energies, they never mix together. This mixing is in the soul's mind as an illusion. Therefore, I think I am the body. I think I am part of this world. All these kind of things is where is that thought is inside. So thought is in the soul, in the sense. It's not illusion is an experience. A rope is seen as a snake. A rope is seen as a snake. It is seen only as a snake. Isn't it? So once that knowledge comes, oh, you see rope as a rope. Similarly, I think I am this body, but when knowledge comes, oh, I am not this body. Still you can be in this body. So whether you are thinking you are the body or you are realize that I am not the body, soul is always soul. Soul doesn't mix with the body. Kshetrajna, it is a knower of the field of it. Entire field is called Kshetra. And Kshetra is not simply gross elements, complete interaction, everything that we know of is produced in Kshetra. Everything that we see, including, so many things. Determination, conviction, all these things we think it is all three modes of material nature. If you are in a particular mode, you will get a particular mode of determination. If you are in a particular mode, you will get a particular type of conviction. So conviction, determination, patience, they are all created by three modes. You don't create anything. We are living a life of identification. We identify ourselves with the determination of the body. We identify ourselves with the identity of the body. We identify ourselves. Everything is identified. So the soul does not experience direct happiness at all. It is identified happiness. The material world, people love each other. It's all identified love. It's not real love of the soul. The identified love. First I think I am the man. Then she thinks she is the woman. Then he thinks she is a woman. She thinks he is a man. Right? It all is happening in the Kshetra. It's not happening in the soul. It is happening in the Kshetra. And you are watching that. You are identifying. Once you identify, you will completely feel that you are that. Now to disidentify, you need detachment. It's called detachment. For detachment from matter, you need spiritual strength. Because it is something that has happened to your soul. Attachment is something that has happened to the soul. The soul got stuck. So detachment is knowledge. By knowledge one gets detached. Any other questions? Here.
So you said determination and conviction is affected by three modes. What about spiritual convictions? Suppose we have conviction about Krishna consciousness, those things. Are they affected by three modes?
They are also affected by three modes of material nature. That is the reason why our conviction is not, why we leave Krishna consciousness. Somebody whose soul is convinced, that means that soul level is convinced. It takes time, by association, by proper kind of a, body coming into a certain situation, sattvic situation, hearing the transcendental words, one gets convinced to start with. That conviction has to become conviction of the soul. That is when you become nishtha. There are stages are there. So initially all the things that we exhibit, that is why it is said, without getting that punya, one cannot come into Krishna consciousness. That punya Prabhupada gives. By serving Prabhupada's movement, we get that punya. Punya is connected to the body. So there is a bodily qualification coming up due to service to one's guru. Once that comes up, then you enjoy higher values from this same body. To have a body with Sattva Guna is a gift. When you search Srila Prabhupada, slowly you will come into that guna. When you come into that guna, when you hear Bhagavatam and everything, then it will be, impact will be much more. So our journey is through the yantra only. It starts through the yantra. That's a very good question what you asked, because in the Bhagavad Gita, when the kshetra is being described, you will see one of the items there, conviction. How can conviction be kshetra? It's like that. First you get conviction at the kshetra level about Krishna consciousness. Other than Krishna consciousness, because conviction is required for life in this world. It is not only for Krishna consciousness, right? Karmis all need conviction, otherwise how they'll move? So their conviction is not coming from the soul. Where is it coming from? Kshetra. Because the kshetra has to reproduce a full-fledged life like a spiritual life. Kshetra has to reproduce, kshetra has to create a sense of identity for the person. Because these are all imitations of the spiritual. It's a person, entire personality is duplicated in this material world by the kshetra. So expertly. Even for a completely ignorant man. An ignorant man also has convictions. Where is it coming from? From kshetra. Now we become devotees. First, at the kshetra level itself, we should get conviction. We will get, because we use our contaminated, let's say, I am a karmi. I come across Prabhupada's book. When I am reading it as karmi only, no? With my own karmi values only I am reading it. But slowly I lift myself up. And then one day, it will be at the spiritual level. Because all these things are imitation of the spirit characters. These are all characteristics of the spirit. Life itself is a characteristic of spirit. It's an imitation. The kshetra is imitating it. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.